The KZ Crinacle ZEX Pro. What do they have in common with a cheese platter? I suppose we should get the basics out of the way. Okay, build quality is okay. The wire that comes with it works. It's a 2-pin connector, and I will say that the left and right indicator on the connectors are transparent plastic on top of transparent plastic, so they're kind of difficult to figure out which one goes where, but hey, it's $37. It comes in black and rose gold, although I will recommend the black over the rose. It's not the prettiest rose gold in the world, but hey, $37. As for the sound, it's definitely bass boosted. It's got that 200 Hz cut, which Crinacle loves so much, and it does in fact work that way, because while the mids do sound recessed compared to the bass for obvious reasons, they're clean. The mids and the highs, they are left unmuddied by that boosted bass. As for technicalities, I believe the scientific term is meh. I mean, come on, it's a $37 IEM. But that's the thing. Low price points tend to be get-out-of-jail-free cards. You don't expect much at this price point, so they don't have to do much. To that extent, I think $25 or less would have been an amazing price point for these, because at that price point, it basically resets the game for default buds. $10, $20 buds that you just go to the store and you buy and you pop on, right? This totally changes the game for sound quality in that segment. But this is $37. I'm going to give you 4 arguments. 1 against buying the KZ Crinacle ZEX Pro, and 3 actually in favor of buying it. So let's start. This is Meena Bazaar. It's not exactly made to be residential, it's definitely more commercial, but you can get apartments nearby. They'll do the job, they'll have all the basics that you need. While you might even find a particularly nice apartment in this area, it's probably going to leave you wanting or even needing more. This is the very next neighborhood, literally 10 minutes from where I was before. It's not a particularly upscale neighborhood either, but it's a lot quieter. It's a lot more residential. You've got schools, you've got a park literally right there for your kids to go and play in, malls, theaters, all of the things that make a quality of life that much better for just a little bit more money. And this applies to pretty much everything. And basically, that's my argument for the budget end of the spectrum, right? Generally speaking, if you stretch a little bit, you get a lot more. Spend a little more, get a lot more. That's the theme here, really. I mean, just think about it. Instead of the sub $50 IEM range, what if you could spend sub $100 instead? I know that's a stretch, I know that's double, but that's still, I feel, reasonable for a lot of audiophiles out there. But what you get in return for that little bit extra money is phenomenal. The Etymotic ER2 SE, the Moondrop Aria, the Tin Hi-Fi T. Arguably IEMs that even after spending more money on more expensive equipment, you could come back and listen to, and they would still be good because they are good and surprisingly technically proficient as well, given the money. And that's really the thing. Anytime anyone asks me about budget things, I always say, instead of spending $40 today, see if you can spend $80 tomorrow, because what you get for that money is so much more. So if that's my one argument against it, here's 3 arguments in favor of the KZ Crinacle ZEX Pro. Argument number 1 is for the audiophile collector. A lot of audiophiles like to collect IEMs, and they do this for various reasons. Sentimentality, to mark an occasion, or perhaps just because they're hoarders and they should really see someone about that, honestly. But generally speaking, the IEMs you want to collect are IEMs that are different. Anomalous even. The Etymotic ER2 SE is a great example of this. A contentious IEM that is undeniably punching well above its weight in certain categories. By that same logic, the KZ ZEX Pro Crinacle is also a bit of an anomaly. In fact, I'd go so far as to say it's a statement. The statement in particular is one that Crinacle has spoken about before. I'm paraphrasing, but he's basically said that you shouldn't have to pay that much money for good tuning. And it's a sentiment that I could not agree with more. But the interesting thing is, he's actually gone and done it. This is an IEM that is tuned very well, has a very clean sound signature, and it doesn't cost the earth. That makes it both an anomaly and a bit of a standard bearer. I mean, think about it. Anything else that comes up in this price range will now be compared to these IEMs. And I think it's safe to say that they have a well-earned place in any audiophile's IEM collection. Reason number 2 is if you're hard stuck. If you have an absolutely unchangeable budget of $40. To you, I say 2 things. 1, go second hand. You never know what you might find. But 2, buy the KZ Crinacle ZEX Pro, because it is genuinely a good IEM with a clean sound signature that will hold you in good stead for a long time until you're willing and ready to spend that extra money for that next step. Now, the third and final reason to buy the KZ Crinacle ZEX Pro is cheese. I don't know if you've ever wanted to buy a wheel of cheese, an entire wheel. It's kind of been a dream of mine to have and to hold and to... Sorry. But they're expensive and you don't want to spend that kind of money without trying it. So you go to your local dairy and you ask them for a cheese sampler, basically to see if something they have is what you like and it's enough to get you to spend the money. And the KZ Crinacle ZEX Pro is basically Crinacle's own cheese sampler. If you've ever wanted to buy the Blessing Dust 2, it follows the same tuning. So basically, spend $37 now and figure out if you want to spend $300 and something tomorrow. Plus, when you're done with it, you can always sell it to someone else for 15 or 20 bucks, maybe someone who's on a very tight budget. That is quite literally a win-win. And there you have it. One reason against buying the KZ Crinacle ZEX Pro and 3 reasons in favor of it. What are you going to do with your money? Up next is a rather contentious view on the Galaxy Watch 4. You might want to watch that before you buy it. The Technics AZ60 literally came in yesterday and, well, I'm in the process of reviewing it, so stay tuned for that. And virtual reality through the lens of the Oculus Quest 2. How they hook you? Is it actually worth it for anything beyond Beat Saber? And what are the downsides and the pitfalls? All this and more slated for What's New, so maybe you want to hit that subscribe button. Till next time, stay happy, stay peaceful, stay colorful. Namaste.